Pretty sure as soon as I start going, the phone's gonna be ringing all over the place. So you just have to prepare for that eventuality. No, I had a lady call who wanted guitar lessons. Said she was playing 50 years ago. And I told her, you know, go over to Coconut Grove and you'll probably see the same people working there as back when you used to play guitar. And she did, and they were, which is awesome. I don't know if it's really 50 years, but yeah, we got some guys there that got serious experience. Pretty. Let's get this going. All right, welcome to Evidence Based Audio. This is number 204, and this is Guitar Spam Mastery. And I know lately I've been doing so much stuff on guitar, but if there's any, well, besides audio files, um, if you want to see everyday examples of logical fallacies and lack of critical thinking, the guitar community has it in spades. It's just amazing, the beliefs in tone wood and magical cables and things like that. It's just rife, and the amount of hatred for the scientific method or for objective measurement in the guitar community, it's mind blowing. You guys might think young Earth creationists or whatever are nuts, but they got nothing on guitar players. I mean, at least they can kind of form a coherent from here to there with their stuff. Guitarists, forget it. It's just a hand wave. So it's a great place to be. But that said, this isn't magic. This is a profiling box. You guys probably know about Tonex. I think we talked about a leaked picture of this thing a couple weeks ago. Tonex is like Kemper or Neural DSP Quad Cortex or Overloud's profile player. You can somehow, through some sort of AI or whatever, you play this thing a series of tones through your amplifier, and it models how that thing behaves, at least in that one setting. There's another one, makes one More Tones Studio software or something. There's a couple of these out there, and we've talked about Neural Amp Modeler, which is not the Quad Cortex from Neural DSP. It's an open source one that people have been using, and these are pretty convincing. Like if you have your amp set a certain way, you run it through these capture things and you play it, fine. I mean, if you're a true guitar player in the religious sense, where only stuff made before 1950 is any good or whatever, yeah, you can have problems with it. But anybody living in the reality-based universe, it's going to be pretty close to, if not indistinguishable from their amp. It may not react the same when you start changing knobs and stuff, but it's pretty close. So sitting over at Sweetwater right now, says coming soon, notify me when in stock. Though I saw someplace else that said these were already shipping and people were getting like FedEx numbers and stuff for them already. $400. So 3 buttons. You would use this with your Tonex software to make captures and then send them to this thing through their cloud or something. Who knows? There's already a bunch of captures available. I think the usual suspects have already been making them. And I'm sure this is great. We've seen some weirdness. I've been reading, there's some forums that have talk about how this thing's working. We're up to about like 30 pages at the Gear Forum, and I think there's something weird about you can't just swap out IRs, impulse responses, for your cabs, but you can bake them in, turn them on, turn them off or something. I don't know. It looks like you could switch them though, but I haven't given this a try, and there's a reason. I am so sick of these 3-button things. I know they're good. Like I know for the people who need them, they're awesome. But for me, I can't fit this giant thing on my already giant pedal board. Either I want the whole giant kit and caboodle that, let's be honest, IK Multimedia, who makes this thing, who also made Amplitube, they should have had a full-size multi-effects that runs this thing from, with Amplitube. Maybe not this thing, but Amplitube should have had a version at least as far back as the Helix, probably before that. These guys were like the first guys to put your guitar amp on your phone. They were so far ahead of the game. I really highly praise them because unlike the other chicken developers out there, they made a harmonizer. And we've been waiting for harmonizers for so long. Who's this? Who's Red? Let's see. Let me let you in here. Who is this guy? Which Red is this? I seem to be muted. I'm gonna mute you for now. Hey, speak up if you're in here. Don't you know what, bomb me. Anyway, IK Multimedia very early on, brought us a harmonizer. They did a lot of things ahead of their time, and I would have really expected to see an Amplitube thing like Helix, and it could be just like Helix, where the native version of Amplitube, you can just send your presets to your hardware unit. I'm so surprised they didn't do this. And that's really what I'd like to see. I think I'd like to see a full-size one of these. I'd replace my Helix with it maybe. Though I love my Helix. Or I want a really small one because I think we talked about this. More was making, let me see where it is. More X2, I think it's called More X2 preamp. So they have their own thing, a Tone Studio. I'm not sure how good it works. But in some of their products, like this one right here, this More preamp Model X X2, you can load these same sort of profiles in here that you create with their Tone Studio thing. And see, this is nice, and well, this is still 2 buttons. It's still a little bit big. More also makes a ton of micro kind of things. Let's see, where's I have a synthesizer that, yeah, it's like this. He's really small. Oh yeah, right here I have this one, the E7. These are super tiny. They're like inch and a half, maybe 2 inches across. Super small, and because you don't need that much space for DSP. And I'd love to see something like this. What's some good bass pedals? I don't know what to tell you. For me, okay, so sorry. Let me digress here. Red is asking what's some good bass pedals. Any of the big multi-effects work well. We tried a Boss GT1000 Core at our outside our show here at the school last Friday. Worked great. You don't have to spend that much. The SansAmp pedals out there are still good. I mean, I know a lot of people still swear off those. The SansAmp pedals, the SansAmp rack units. My brother was using a Firehawk effects, which you can get super cheap now from Line 6. I don't think they're actually that good for guitar, but they were awesome for bass. No, this isn't a class. This is I'm just babbling. That's all fine. Yeah, the SansAmp pedals are still. I mean, let's see if anybody still sells these things. SansAmp bass pedal. The good thing about these things is when a sound man sees them, he has a really easy time of putting them in. So here's the old bass driver. Do they even sell this thing anymore? God, $250. You could almost buy. You know what? As much as I love the SansAmp, for this much money, I know we talked about this a little while ago, but this thing right here, it's going to be, I don't know if it's a little bit more money, but this Velton, I don't know how they say it. How much is this thing at Amazon? The GP200, it's like almost like a Pod Go for cheaper. Has a sensible pedal setup for 4 buttons and 4 buttons on the bottom, 4 buttons on the top. Expression pedal. You got all the effects you could possibly use. Yeah, I didn't realize that SansAmp bass drivers can be so much money anymore. I'm sure you see them out there for cheap though. How much is this thing? $300. Um, yeah, I mean, if you want like a multi effects where you can recall stuff and use it as an audio interface for your computer recording and stuff. But back in the day, you couldn't go wrong with these SansAmp pedals or the SansAmp rack units. It's interesting that they still make these. Let's look at Sweetwater real quick and see what people are. So $250. I mean, it's not a bad price considering what everything costs right now. And the cool thing about these is you got an XLR out, go straight to the PA system. Soundman loves you. I don't know if you can power it with batteries, but what is this? Bass driver V2. Somebody's selling it for a little bit more with some pedals. It's a lot of compressors. See, that's the thing. This is not really going to come with a compressor or anything. It's just it's kind of distortion. It's all your tone and stuff. I don't think it has a compressor. I mean, though the drive can actually work a little bit as that. Have you ever worked with the PreSonus Live Studio 16.0.2 mixer? I worked with the bigger one, and there's one here in Honolulu that's still on the air. It's been on the air for years. It hasn't been taken off as far as I know. It's been on and running since forever. It's on a UPS. I really like a lot of stuff PreSonus does. I know that if you're in that market, you're going to see a lot more for the X32, M32, the Behringer stuff. I have a hard time trying to put effects into the voice channel. Okay, so I was just about to say, the routing was a little bit screwy for me to figure out how to actually do this stuff. I'll try and get to you after the show's over, because there are a couple. Okay, there are some fanatics for the PreSonus Studio Live boards. I don't even know if they make them anymore, but these guys, there's actually a Facebook group where they know how to do everything on it, and a lot of them use them as their entire recording studio interface, and they do a lot of their live stuff with them too. So it does both, and it does both very well. I guess the name Studio Live kind of tells you that, but a lot of people make names that don't live up to their name. But this unit is actually pretty cool. We had it's a slightly bigger one. I think it was called the 1642 or something. But there is a Facebook group where the guys in there know every trick with this. I was running through the manual and going through so much junk trying to figure this out. I got the answer in like 5 minutes off the Facebook group that I'd been going through for hours trying to find. So I can talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, getting the routing was tricky for me. But once you know it, you'll be able to patch in your effects where you want, and they can go to tape or to the computer, or not. You can put them wherever you want. So when they get through this Tonex stuff, so like I was saying, I would like to see. I'd love to. Yeah, let me see if I'll find it if I can. Let me put it in my chat. Somebody will answer it in here. 1 second. There we go. I would love to see, like I say, a full size Amplitube thing that runs as Tonex, that you can send presets from your computer back to your pedal board. I've been forcing myself to use Helix Native, and that way I can get my studio sound live on the board, or I can get stuff that I made on the board into my recordings and stuff. And I've, not that I play bass, but I've got some killer bass patches I made, and I've been using them on, if you're listening to the mixing last night for No Hero, that was Helix Native doing the bass sounds. And so I would like to do the same thing with an Amplitube pedal if they did, but so far it's just this Tonex. If it's going to be just Tonex, I would love to see a micro version like those Moores have, where I could just throw it on my pedal board, and I could fit it between my two expression pedals, and it'll actually fit on here. I can't fit this giant thing on here. I was thinking about like Velcroing it onto the top of my wireless or something. I don't know, but I don't want to do that. Let's see, what's the actual dimensions here? 6, almost 7 inches by 5, almost 6 inches. So let's I had to I have to measure my distance to the monitors for my eye doctor. So 7x6. 7x6, yeah. No way can I fit that on my pedal board. I can almost fit the width, but I guess if I gave up one of my expression pedals, maybe I could. I don't think so, but maybe. And it's crazy. I have 3 expression pedals on here, and I really only ever use 2 of them. I made the other one for the volume. I never used it for that. I just can't control volume with my foot. I'm really envious of you guys that can do that. I think my knees are too busted up for it. But anyway, Tonex pedal is real. Allegedly it's shipping. I think there's a thread here somewhere where the let's see. I can do this thread. Well, yeah. See, that's the other thing. There's no digital in or out on this, and so you are going to look at least converter latency. But what I'm trying to find out, I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah, look, somebody's already got one. So yeah, somebody's already got one into their rig, and we see a lot of the influencers on YouTube already have this thing, so it's definitely shipping. It's not on my Vaporware watch list. It never was, actually. It's just when IK says something, I tend to trust them. We've had issues before, but look at that. Yeah, it's so big, man. I don't know. Yeah, plus, yeah, it's not just the depth of the thing. It's that the cable's got to stick out of it, too. What this does have, actually, why did I close this? Let me go back to this. Sweetwater Tonex pedal. Okay. So if we look at this one more time, I'm going to start hopping on this for a second. So what do we got here? In, stereo out, headphone out, MIDI, and some another control foot switch, and then your USB, of course, on the regular USB-B or whatever you call that thing, the regular one, so you don't have to go and find that little itty-bitty thing that always breaks. I think that's all the ins and outs, but it's the ins and outs you need. The more pedal that I saw didn't have any way to switch, so you would just be turning on or off the preamp. You wouldn't be able to switch sounds. This looks good. MIDI looks good. I hear there's some weirdness with the implementation, like we were talking about the IRs, but I can't wait to meet this thing in person, but I can't fit it on my pedal board, so I won't be ordering one, but I'm sure something's going to show up. So we move on here. Speaking of pedal boards, we have the GT1000, and we use it for the kids shows, the Boss GT1000. We also have a Boss GT1000 Core, and it's one of these 3-button things. And I tell you, the implementation was just a nightmare. You couldn't directly select presets with this. I don't know. I don't like the way Boss does their quality of life with their digital devices. I like Line 6, how they do it a lot more. Actually, I kind of like Anybody a lot. I really like that Veloton GP200. Why did that just do that? But one of the things that I figured, there was over at the music store, there was a big SKB pedal board, which appears to be made by Furman, has its own power supply. It's called the PS45. They seem to have discontinued it, but it's nice and big, fits everything. It's got power, like I said. Hard case, feels very secure. I almost want to just throw my Helix in there, though I'd have to give up some of my expression pedals, but I don't know how bad that would actually be. But anyway, so I threw the GT1000 Core on there because I do have a Behringer FCB 1010 foot switch, the 1010 pedal one. And so I figured, I'll use MIDI to control this thing, and it'll be a lot better. It might even be better than the GT1000. And the implementation is goofy, but good. And so instead of 5-pin MIDI on there, it uses TRS 3.5 millimeter. And so I had to look up the pinout for that. And sure enough, everybody's got a different opinion. The MIDI Manufacturers Association had a spec, but Boss had their own. If I go to Boss's page, it shows here as the tip is pin 5 hot. And I was trying to use this thing, it just wouldn't work. And I looked around in the forums, and yeah, sure, this one says pin 5 hot. This one says pin 5 hot. But some of them were saying pin 4 hot. And yeah, see this one right here, this one from seems to be the MIDI Manufacturers Association, says pin 4 hot. And so I went back and forth. I took my soldering iron back out and I swapped pin 4 and 5, and all of a sudden the thing works. So I have no idea what's going on here, but it's driving me nuts. So here's the MIDI Association, how to make your own MIDI cables, and it's saying yeah, this one's saying pin 5 hot too. And but with Boss, it wasn't working with pin 5 hot, it was working with pin 4 hot. I have no idea what's going on, but it's that really driving me bonkers. If anybody can answer what's it really supposed to be, because if I were to order these Boss cables off Amazon or whatever and they don't work, I'd be a little bit miffed. See, it's this one right here, 3.5 millimeter to 5-pin MIDI, TRS MIDI, and they're claiming that it's pin 5 hot, and pin 5 hot was not working. Unless somebody wrote the wrong numbers on my MIDI connector, which is, I wouldn't be super surprised, but the jack I was using, it said pin 5. I don't know. Ended up working when I switched it to the wrong thing. So maybe I'll buy some of these. The right angle's a little bit handier than what I had. We'll see. So that drove me a little bit nuts. But anyway, friend of the show, Thiago Trinci, got featured in Guitar World this month, and he's talking about introducing alternate hybrid picking, a new guitar technique that could change the way you solo. Pioneered by Thiago Trinci and inspired by Steve Vai and Joe Satriani, alternate hybrid picking seeks to add a modern touch to two traditional playing techniques. Hey, Vinny, I was just wondering yesterday if that thing was any good, the Tonex. Yes. Well, I'll tell you what, you can go get the software for free, plug your guitar into your interface, and grab some of the profiles that are already available for free out there and run them. And I think you can be blown away by how good it is at emulating amps, because it's the Kemper's more than 10 years old at this point. I think I could be wrong, but it seems like it's around there. This is the newest artificial intelligence technology, whatever. And you've seen how much AI has taken the world by storm lately. Tonex, it's good. I've been running the software. It's awesome. I really, really, really want to get into a pedal small enough to put on my pedal board. So I'm also looking at that Moorer one, because there's just one sound that I want, and it's a sound that nobody else wants, so they're not going to make it for me. We talked about it last week. Anyway, you check out Thiago at Guitar World. He plays alternate hybrid picking. Let me play a little bit of this. But you still got to be Thiago Trinci to do that. Yeah, if you're looking for a Mesa Boogie, I think there's piles of those. Yeah, grab the free software. Let me see if I can find it for you. So I mean, if you don't have an amp to capture, just get the free one for now. Try it out. It's right here, ikmultimedia.com/products/Tonex, and do the try free one, and get it here. And I think, yeah, it's a ToneNet that you go on. I don't know if you can use the ToneNet for free. But there's going to be tons and tons and tons of sounds up there. And the forums already had a bunch of people showing ones that you can try out. So I would definitely try this thing out, especially it's not going to cost you anything to try. It's just going to cost you a little bit of time. And maybe you might end up drooling for that hardware. And if that hardware actually fits in your setup, a 3-button thing, or to use MIDI with it or whatever, it's a lot cheaper than the Quad Cortex. And guess what? It does what it says it does already, unlike, I don't need to, we hammered on the Quad Cortex long enough, I think. Okay, so next thing, Audient. Everybody's talking about this ID24. we were talking about their mic preamps, the Evo 8 or whatever. Those things are actually really cool. And, but, we still need an interface that can handle 24 in and out at least. I like 32. So, paired with an RME Digiface USB or something, that'd be pretty awesome. That last time I bought one was $500. I'm sure it's more expensive now, but it's not that much more than this ID24, which is $314 over at Tollman. When I look at it, let's go to user manual. The ID24 seems to have 2 analog inputs. Maybe it's got more. Maybe it's got some DI inputs or something. And then it's got a set of 8-add in and out. I have no idea why anybody's talking about this thing. This is just going to be another like 10 input, 14 out or whatever kind of thing. Like I thought they already had that. I want to see something with at least 3 sets of 8-add IOs or 2 sets of IOs or 3 sets of IOs and 8 channels on it, which they have something else. Audient had, where's the products? Go to, since we were talking about that Evo SP8 mic preamp a couple of weeks ago, which is looking good. The Evo 16 here seems like you're supposed to pair it with it. It's kind of like one of those Motu 8 pre's sort of. So this thing's got 8 mic pre's on it, I think. And then the back side of it has 2 sets of optical. Okay, so here you go. Here's your 24 channel solution right here. This is what I'd be buying. I don't know if this is actually for sale yet, but so it's got 8 mic preamps on. It's got 2 sets of 8-add inputs, and you could just get 2 of those Evo 8 mic pre's and you'd be set. Let's go to buy. Let's see where Evo 16, select a country. I know I should just put there you go, Sweetwater or something. Let's see, Evo Audient Evo 16. $500. So I don't know. This might be a better deal for you. I would probably just buy the RME Digiface USB if it were me. But Audient is impressing me lately. Okay, so last thing here. This is, I'm constantly looking out for, students or other people who are just getting scammed left and right by these like alleged self-helpless gurus that they teach you like how to monetize your music, even though they've never made a penny. It's mostly like these guys are like on MLM schemes where their actual job is to sell you into the system. They're not actually selling the products. You're not going to sell any products. Your job is going to be to recruit other people. And in this case, there's all these like fake recording school things. We talk about this all the time. And I keep getting bombarded with these guitar ones. And so I found out, frighteningly, that you can actually go through Facebook's ad system and look for ads that you wanted to see. One that keeps coming up, and let me do another search here. I'll see if I can get one of these videos playing. Add all ads. Penta guitar. This thing keeps coming up. Penta guitar. Let's see if there's a video. There's like these. I'd love to see the ad. The ad shows like all this. Let's see details. Is there some way to actually see the ad? Because you would see it in Facebook and Instagram and stuff. There's a bunch of these. So what is he saying? A new approach to fretboard that allows you to visualize all the notes with one single shape and know it's not any of the usual suspects. Chances are you've never heard of this. This is like clickbait for a school. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know if it's a real school or if this technique even works. I don't make all that much money, but if you guys want me to buy this stuff and really try it out, feel free to donate. I'll give you my review. But I'm not holding my breath. I completely transformed my understanding of the guitar fretboard using this exclusive training. It's like, have you ever seen those really long ads that the medical scammers will give you? Like, there's a serious fruit that will, if you eat it, it'll cure your cancer and make you smarter. And then you like click to the next page and it talks about the guy's life. I was a doctor in Africa in the poorest places and I regrew people's limbs, blah, blah, blah. And they'll just go through this long, long thing and it'll be like 30 pages in before you can actually see what the hell it is that they're trying to sell you. I have no idea what this technique is on here. Check out this new program that makes notes on the guitar just as visual as a piano. A new way to visualize the fretboard. Revealed. I mean, it's like some tabloid, right? I mean, this is like the ad scams you see in the low IQ magazines and the Instagram sidebar there. Revealed, how you can navigate the entire guitar fretboard with one simple finger pattern. And then so they're going to have all this stuff, blah, 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 blah. Not how much is it? Where can I buy it? What does it look like? And then there'll be the testimonies. Magical fruit juice saved my life. I drank it and lost 30 pounds, So there's a bunch of, here's what you'll discover. Not what it is or anything. How to permanently defeat pattern think with just one finger pattern, so that you always know what you're doing on the fretboard in any mode, in any key. Hey, they're speaking right to me. I would love to have that kind of knowledge. Like, that's exactly what I'd like to be able to do. I just don't have any idea, any reason to believe that these particular people are going to be able to deliver this. Where all the notes are so you can stop playing anything without having to stop and think about it. You will never lose that moment of inspiration again. I know guys who know where every single note is on the guitar just by looking at it, and it's from years of them playing and stuff. And I keep asking, how did you learn that? Well, I just kept doing it. I think Doug Marks over at Metal Method, who is an amazing teacher, he doesn't scam anybody. He tells them right up front, here's what class, here's what you're going to learn, here's how I teach it. Try a month for free or whatever. He's got some kind of free deal, and it's no joke. He tells you, I think he's got a system where he says, look, learn these 5 frets right here, get them down, move on, get on to another 5 frets or something. And I'm sure it works because all kinds of his students are able to do it. And it drives me nuts because I can't, because I didn't put in the time. Let's see. How to avoid having to memorize strange shapes note by rote and repetition. I'm all about that. There's nothing to remember. The notes are just there like on a piano. Well, you know what? I can't remember the piano keys either. So I don't know that that's a good analogy. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. How to make all of this work even with zero knowledge of music theory while laying the groundwork to make deep understanding easy. Is this sounding to you like lose weight without any exercise? I don't know. And then see, here's Shanna Gilfix, singer-songwriter, Los Angeles, and she's talking about, after a few weeks of your program, I was getting better at soloing on guitar, which I've wanting to do for a long time. Let's look this person up here. Let's see if this even exists. Sometimes these people actually exist, and maybe they're not lying, But a lot of times you go and like check famous producer or whatever, and the guy doesn't even exist. Or it's just some guy selling, Cutco knives, but pretending to be a record producer. Well, she got an Instagram. Who knows? I mean, how it's not like an Instagram model that's you paid to endorse your product. I don't know. But, I shouldn't. 6,000 followers. I doubt she's really a scammer. Sound healer. All right. Yeah, she got some guitar stuff. Let's where's your guitar playing? Is there one in a video where you're playing guitar? Here we go. Why don't I hear this? Oh.
Because it's beautiful and because the person...
Okay. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, who knows? Let's keep going through here. So finally we get to here's what you get. line 0. This is it. The magic starts here with one finger pattern that contains every aspect of music, more than just a pattern system. You won't find this anywhere else. You know, there are exclusive things out there, but to think that there's some little thing that nobody else has ever thought of, and I know this is fallacious, but it's just bear with me. Nobody's ever found this before. Just this one guy, and just if you plant these magic beans, you'll get this beanstalk. He calls it $100 to $200 value. I tell you what, if I got one pattern and that contained every aspect of music, I'll give you a lot more than $200 for it. The 5-pent map of tonality, use the pentatonic shapes you already know and love to cover every aspect of music. You know, I know one pentatonic shape by heart. The other ones I can force myself to remember and actually get proficient at with a couple hours of practice, but I don't remember. I only remember the basic one. Line 0, black and white notes. Use line 0 to instantly know which notes are white and which ones are black on all 12 keys. Guitar, just got as visual as piano, developed true musicianship and world-class skills. That's not a bad idea. You know, for all I know, this isn't a bad idea, but the way this is presented, barf. So I think he gives you like a free lesson or something. Get yours now. So let's see. Oh, look, act now, because it's a time, again, this is what you always see on these like health scams and stuff. It's a time limited offer. Special 24-hour introductory one-time offer. You know, it's funny because I've been watching this ad for a couple of weeks. Get it all for the price of a couple string sets today. You know, if this was actually any good, it's not a bad price. It's just this presentation. Okay, so visual guitar, $20. $20 for this book. If it's any good, it's worth $20. I mean, it might be worth $20 even if it's bad. Plus 1.5 hour lesson. Wait. Visual guitar plus one-on-one plus $10 discount on book. What book? 1 hour plus free book. I don't know. What's the book? Is that a different thing than this than the $20 thing you get? Or do you get it as a PDF with $20 and you get it as a book? Okay, so this is the other thing. Half of these things that you see, we'll look at some more in a little bit, I think. You never see who it actually is. Like, it's some guy who claims to be a guru, and that's what happens with all this guru stuff. These guys claim to be all this stuff, and it turns out they're nobody. You know, me and my friends get marketed like how to be a good BMX rider. We know everybody. You're not going to come in with some dude that nobody's ever heard of and tell me how you're going to ride, dude. And then we go and look at the guy. The guy can't even ride for crap. You know, so it's that kind of thing. But who is this guy? Eric Alexander guitar. You know, for $20, I almost want to just grab this thing and give it a try for you. So there's an Eric Alexander Jazz. It might be the same guy. He sells educational materials. Let's see who this is. I don't know. This kind of doesn't look like a guitar player, though. This guy's playing saxophone. So jazz saxophonist. Yeah, it's a bunch of jazz stuff. Okay. Another thing is every once in a while there will be a fake website that's made to promote these things. So here's an interview with Eric Alexander of Penta Guitar. Let's see if we can find Eric Alexander Penta Guitar. See something on Twitter. Somebody did this thing on a podcast. Grade 43. Have anybody ever heard of that podcast before? I haven't. Most important skills to learn. See, I'm just having trouble finding anything with this guy. So, who is Grade 43? Let's see what else they did here.
This episode of Grade 43.
Besides this one thing. Grade 43 podcast. 0 views. Hey, you got Phil McKnight on there. Yeah, it looks like a decent channel. So interesting. So I guess maybe we should look into this, see what this is. But I get so many of these scams, and they try and hit our parents with them all the time with these like new magical beans way of learning this or that guitar technique. I don't know. This kind of looks like Scott Ian right here. Let's take a look right here. Zombie guitar. Seem to be going. Why aren't you playing? Zombie guitar. Master the fretboard at your own pace. A complete music theory for guitarists program joined today. What is zombie guitar? 10,000 members. $20 a month membership. You know, that's cheaper than going to school. So actually this full lifetime membership, not bad at all. Who knows? You know, it's so hard to tell which of these are real because you don't really know what you're getting. So here's a free lesson. Easily learn songs by ear.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Brian from Zombie Guitar here. Here in this video, I want to teach you how to quickly learn songs by ear.
Sounds like Adam
Sandler. So you can learn just the rhythm, you can learn the leads, you can take a song.
I hate not being able to fast forward this, like these sales pitch ones. Barf. Let's see. Guitar mastery method, 5-minute guitar lessons. You know, I'm sure some of these are legit, but it's always these guys you've never heard of. God, there's piles of these things. The recording ones are even worse. Let's see. What do you call it? Learn to mix. Let's see if that actually shows anything up. So these guys are selling mixes, which is cool. But there's like these recording class ones. They're just, I don't want to say any names, but they're full of crap. Anyway, that's really all I got for this week. I'm gonna be really looking into the Tonex stuff and seeing about whether or not that Moore pedal can actually do it. But because it doesn't have MIDI, it's kind of gonna ruin that plan a little bit. But anyways, I'll see you guys next week.